Good morning, I'm the Reverend Stephen Page from St. Patrick's Anglican Church. Our daily radio devotionals this month are all sports related, and today let's talk baseball again. Baseball has always been my favorite sport, and I'm holding in my hand a regulation-sized baseball. I love the feel of a baseball. It's all slick and shiny and white with these raised red stitching on it. Now, in other sports, like football or soccer, the ball is filled with air. But baseballs, they're solid, they're dense. If I were to dig out a saw and cut my way through the center of my baseball here, we would find that at the very center, the core of the baseball is made with cork. And then around the cork comes a couple layers of rubber, and then this rubber and cork core is then surrounded by yarn. Each baseball has hundreds of yards of yarn wrapped around and around and around the center. There may even be different colors of yarn if we were to cut into this, which show where the different layers are, with each layer using a different thickness and a different color of yarn. Well, the top layer of wound yarn is then covered with a glue, and the white leather cowhide cover then comes on the very top. And the balls used in the major leagues, they're hand-stitched with exactly 216 of these red stitches that hold the two strips of white leather together. And voila, a baseball. The way baseballs are made in North America, they are white and shiny, kind of slick, a little slippery. And that can make them a little harder to hang on to and to throw them accurately. So before each game in the big leagues, these shiny new baseballs, they're rubbed down with some dirt and mud. Not a lot, but enough to reduce the slickness and let the players get a better grip for throwing the ball. For years, this job of rubbing them down, it was the umpire's job, and they would rub the dirt and mud by hand onto the baseballs. Now, you know, the umps, they never really cared for that dirty job, so they negotiated it out of their contract. So now, the job of rubbing down the balls before a game begins, this job falls to one of the attendants at each of the stadiums. But it made sense. Since the umpire decides how long a ball is kept in play, it did make sense that the umpires would be responsible for that. Now, watch a game, and you will often see the home plate ump take the ball from the catcher, and he'll look it over. And if he decides it's still okay, he throws it back to the pitcher. But if he thinks it's too scuffed, he tosses it away, and he gives the pitcher a new one. When a ball is too scuffed, it gives the pitcher an advantage because its movement becomes more unpredictable, making the ball harder for the batter to hit. Now, legend has it that once these stadium attendants took over the job, the great Randy Johnson would slip an extra $250 to the attendant of his home stadium, and he'd give them this little extra money if they would rub just a little extra dirt and mud on the days that he was pitching. Because Randy Johnson, he wanted more movement. He wanted the ball to be a little harder to hit. Not that he needed the help. Johnson was a great pitcher. He was a 10-time All-Star. He won 5 Cy Young Awards as the best pitcher in the league. He led the Arizona Diamondbacks to the World Series title in 2001. He had a no-hitter and a perfect game in his career. He will surely enter the Hall of Fame one day. A nice, new, clean, shiny white baseball, it's perfect. It's a thing of beauty. But the best players, like Randy Johnson, they know how to make use of any little blemish and imperfection, any ding or scuff on the ball. That's kind of like our lives, isn't it? Over the course of living, we get lots of dings and scuffs, if you will. Some are small, but some are large. Things like times of hurt or failure, times of disappointment or pain. The good news, though, is that God knows how to make use of the emotional and spiritual and even physical dings and scuffs on us. God was with us. God helped us come through those tough times, and now, if we allow it, God wants to make use of those times of weakness, those times of pain, those hard experiences in life, those times when we disappointed someone, maybe even ourselves, or whatever the sting or scuff on us might be. God wants to put those bumps to good use. I bet there's someone in your circle of friends and family right now who is facing a similar challenge. Will you reach out to them with God's help and bring the love and the light of Christ into their lives? If it sounds too hard, remember that I can do everything through him who gives me strength, Paul wrote in Philippians chapter 4. Hopefully, you were aware of God's presence in your hard times as you got all those dings and scuffs. Now, go and share God's love with others in their time of need. For St. Patrick's Church, I'm the Reverend Stephen Page.